So this video is just going to be talking over gameplay, 2016 commentary style, because if I were to put anything of significance or relevance in this video, it would spoil massive plot beats. And for the sake of this video, I'm not going to be talking too in depth about the specific narrative aspects of the update, but I just want to let you all know what you're in for. I may point out a few things about it that could be deemed as a spoiler, but they are so unbelievably minor that it won't even really change the final outcome of the story. With all of that being said, I'm gonna lead this video with the following statement. I am unbelievably disappointed. And I'm not disappointed because the story is bad or something like that, because it's not bad. In fact, I think it's really good. I'm disappointed because the execution of this story was awful. It was so unbelievably unfun that I cannot believe it made past player testing. Last time I made a video about first impressions with the story, judging by the average like to dislike ratio discrepancy, people didn't really appreciate what I had to say. Even though the vast majority of what I said in that video was positive, it didn't really seem like people agreed with that notion. And what you are all looking at, ladies and gentlemen, what you're seeing with this current update is what happens when you just blatantly slob a game, don't point out when things are going wrong. What has happened is effectively, yet again, the Honkai Star community doesn't like it when somebody comes out and tries to talk about something that is actually an issue, and instead of acknowledging that maybe it's something that could be corrected, they will instead say that their game has no problems. And because it has no problems, any and all constructive criticism that you could offer gets immediately shoved down to the curb. And what I'm saying in all of this is that the very same issues that I highlighted with version 2.1 are not only present, but exacerbated in 2.2. And again, let me clarify, there is no issues with the actual story being told. There is nothing wrong with the script. There is absolutely nothing there that I can even nitpick, because I think it's extremely solid. And with the exception of maybe one or two almost irrelevant plot beats, it's fine, it works. But what doesn't work is the execution, which I would argue is far more important. Case in point, if I came out here and I called you stupid, but I did it one time in a playful voice and the other time in an angry voice, you would be more likely to respond positively to the playful voice. So unless you have a degrading fetish, you would also likely agree with that sentiment. And in a similar vein, the way that you elect to tell a story is equally as important as the story itself, because if you were to, let's just say for the sake of the argument, shove 9 hours and counting of needless exposition down somebody's throat with little to no deviations in actual gameplay, it could be a very frustrating experience for somebody who could be going through that. And I am unfortunately here to let all of you know that that is exactly what this fucking update is. It is nothing but needless commentary. I genuinely cannot overstate this enough. I have been playing through the story for 9.5 hours now. I have been letting every line of dialogue go through, so I have footage of it, and I've just been letting the thing run its course, because that's really all I can do. And while I have from time to time deviated to talk to chat, I haven't even fought the new weekly boss yet. And from what I've been told from my chat, there's about 2 hours of content after that. I don't think I can overstate the fact that I have been playing through this story for 9.5 hours, and not a single time did I feel as though I was having fun. Literally the entire time I felt like I was being talked to, not constantly engaging with. This game feels like a fucking visual novel. It does not feel like a video game. It feels like a video. When I boot up a game, I want to play it. When I wait 40 days for an update so I can play your game because there has been fucking nothing to do for the last 40 days, I want something to do. And this update did not deliver that. And in my last video, I explicitly mentioned that there was not enough gameplay in that update, and I am proud to say that it is even worse this time. Last time, there was a few breaks where you were given the opportunity to play as a trial character, test them out against a bunch of different battles, go look for chests, stuff like that, right? And this update gives you trial versions of the characters, trial Robin, trial Boothill, but the real fucking kicker is that you can't
even use them. Even if you actively went out of your way to try and deviate from the quest, there is not a single battle in those sections that can be found. There are no chests, there are no battles, there's no nothing. You are literally given a trial of the character just so you can walk around in the overworld as them. And what's even funnier is that in terms of actual gameplay itself, it's just as bad, because in 9.5 hours I have been engaged in 4 battles. That's right, I counted 4 battles. 1 happened after I got to a specific new area, and 3 happened within a certain area that you had the option of going to. But I specifically picked the combat district because I wanted something to do. Now, some of you may try and say that it's my fault for trying to go through the story as quickly as I did, for trying to make sure I got it all done in one sitting. And you know, usually if this was any other game, I'd say that's a fair argument. But what's important to understand about this update specifically is that there was nothing to do for the last roughly 40 days. Additionally, if you want to find the new chest, farm the new weekly boss, or partake in the new event, you know, engage with the new content, you have to go through the story. And what's even funnier, if you were one of the unfortunate people who stopped at the Trailblaze Express when the service went down for maintenance, you will immediately be thrusted into 40 minutes of dialogue before player agency is given back to you and you have the ability to move around. Which means if you were on the Trailblaze Express and all you want to do is pull your new character and go back to the whole grind, you can't even do that. You just get to sit there like a child with your thumb up your ass and wait for the story to finish giving you needless exposition just so you can pull the character you wanted and be on with your day. And God forbid you're one of the people who play without voice lines on, because there's no way to change it in the settings. I don't want to go too big on spoilers because that's not what this is about, but there's a specific section in this update that I think is really fucking ironic, because the entire speech that's being given is supposed to be promoting the idea that we as people should have agency in our actions. And at the end of this specific interaction, a character looks towards you and goes, "That's right, we should have agency. What do you think?" Only for the game to then immediately fade to black. You don't even get to make a choice. A pop-up doesn't even appear. It just skips it. That is so fucking stupid. If you want to play a video game, this update is going to be very disappointing for you. In fact, it's disappointing for me, and I'm the Honkai story guy. That's gotta be saying something. I'm gonna be entirely honest with you, viewer. I don't care who you are or what your perspective is. If you don't care about the story, you have absolutely nothing to gain in this update. Skip it. Skip all of it, because it's not really worth listening to. A majority of what is said feels like a needless exposition. In fact, I'd go as far as to say it feels like the Genshin writers took over for this one. There is literally instances where somebody will say something and it is just immediately reaccounted for no fucking reason. There is so much padding in this update. It is disrespectful. I hate it. I hate everything about it. You are making a video game. Why does it not feel like one? After I ended my live stream, I turned the game on auto because I didn't feel like engaging anymore, and I just hit the record button to see how long it would take. I'm not kidding. I had to do nothing for 15 straight minutes, and the only deviation in that fact was when I clicked one dialogue prompt. And again, let me preface this now here at the end of the video. The actual story that is being told here is good. It is not a bad story by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, I was right about a vast majority of the things that I predicted. However, the difference between a good story and a great story is how you go about executing that narrative. I should not audibly sigh when I am listening to your story, constantly asking, are we there yet? And if I am, maybe the journey from point A to point B isn't exactly enjoyable. And again, you could foolishly make the argument that you don't have to do it, but aside from content being locked behind it, if you don't play the story day one, it gets spoiled for you. I intend to finish the story tomorrow and then make a follow-up video talking about the good. None of the bad, all of the good, because I think there's more than enough bad in this video. But if you are going to sit there and in earnest tell me that this update is fun and and engaging, you are a fucking liar. Get Mihoyo's cock out of your mouth and understand that there is a difference between good and great. Execution is the difference, and it's not here. This is a multi-billion-dollar company, and they can very easily afford to put in more than 4 battles in their 9-hour-long exposition dump. It's not about the destination, it's about the journey, and the journey is a steaming pile of dog shit. And don't defend this shit, because if you defend it, nothing will change. I am not going to be the harbinger of toxic positivity. I'm gonna put it how it is. This is genuinely not fun. I did not enjoy myself. Give me the gameplay I installed this game for. Please and thank you.